It is a few minutes to 9 o'clock East African time. Good evening and a very warm welcome to the Daily Report right here on TV47, the home of untold stories. I am George Maringa. Our sign language interpreter at the bottom end of your screen is Rhoda Nyamai. Now, as is the norm, every Monday we bring you an impactful conversation, and today we want to focus on matters held. That conversation will be coming up your way shortly. We had expected and anticipated to have the Cabinet Secretary for Health, that is the Honorable Susan Nakhumicha, but she will not be able to make it tonight. But we shall be having that conversation with the CEO of the Social Health Authority, that is Engineer Washira Elijah. Send in your questions. We've already seen your questions and comments, as well as your feedback regarding this whole transition from NHIF to the new form that will be taking place and kicking off in July. But even as that happens, we want to inform you of all other stories making headlines tonight. Tonight, majority of Kenyans think their government has been caught lacking on the delivery department and that it is giving D for dim.
If you take an average of these three key institutions, then we're getting an average of 45%.
In a deja vu riddled battle of the excess full of receipts, ex-President Uhuru Kenyatta blames his ex-deputy for what we shall call financial starvation tactics, the very same accusation given to him when the current was his former. Which way to sway? And for some uplifting news, as our very own junior starlets jet back to the country in glory, as well as nail-biting anticipation, as Kenya is just one home game away from a historic World Cup qualification. Using TV47 to inform you on the socials, I'm at George Maringa _ use the hashtag Daily Report. Our phone lines will also be open later on the program to be able to have your questions as well as feedback to our guests tonight. Now let's begin where Kenyans drawn from various regions across the country are of the opinion that the government is under-delivering in its mandate. This is according to a survey released by Infotrack on Monday, which has shown some of the top institutions' inability to communicate and address issues affecting Kenyans. And Odida opens our broadcast tonight with that report.
An Infotrack survey on Kenyans' opinions regarding the performance of top country officials has recorded an average mean grade of D, and according to Infotrack, this is a drop compared to a survey released by the organization a fortnight ago.
Survey we did about 2 weeks ago, where we interviewed a total of 1,700 Kenyans, adult Kenyans. Then this 1,700 Kenyans, adult Kenyans, was spread across the different regions, based on the population census of 2019.
The quantitative interviews conducted through computer-assisted telephone interviews shows Kenya's dissatisfaction with President William Ruto, his deputy Rigathi Gachagua, the opposition, judiciary and parliament, all who have been ranked below average.
If you take an average of these three key institutions, then we're getting an average of 45%, and it gives us a mean grade of D+.
However, Interior Cabinet Secretary Kithure Kindiki yet again stands out as the best performing CS in terms of his communication skills in informing. Apologies for that. We shall be getting you more details a little bit later on. Now, payback
karma or merely a misunderstanding? You decide. But here are the facts. Former President Uhuru Kenyatta accuses President William Ruto of mistreating and frustrating him by invoking financial starvation tactics to the office of the third retired president. Through his spokesperson, Kanze Dena Mararo, Honorable Kenyatta claims to have accessed only 4% of the funds allocated to his office in the last 2 financial years. Moige William tells us more.
A frustrated Kenyatta lifting the lead, the myriad financial challenges he faces to run the office of the retired third president. The situation is dire, this is according to the office of the fourth president, accusing President William Ruto of denying him access to the benefits of a retired president as stipulated in the Retired Benefits Act of a President in the 2010 Constitution.
And our worry as an office is a precedence that is being set by the government of the day. Their decision to blatantly ignore execution of the Presidential Act No. 11 of 2023 seems to open up a Pandora's box that will leave a retired head of state at the mercy of the government of the day.
Kanze Dena, the spokesperson of Uhuru Kenyatta, revealing that for 2 years the office of the retired president has had no access to approximately 1 billion Kenya shillings despite Parliament allocating 655 million shillings in the financial year 2022-2023, 503 million shillings in the financial year 2023-2024 and 579 million shillings in the coming financial year.
You see, the quagmire that this office is in is that the office cannot substantiate what has been used and where the monies have been used, since several requests and attempts to get budget returns from the accounting officer, who is the State House Comptroller, have fallen on deaf ears. We would also like to distance ourselves from budget estimates tabled in Parliament. Our position is that we had no input.
The former president, claiming the state of things has forced him to run his office from his personal resources, from fueling the fleet of vehicles assigned to him to paying staff, even as a section of members of his staff allegedly face intimidation via phone calls allegedly from officials from State House.
The Auditor General, who is tasked to hold the government accountable in its expenditure, as well as a controller of budget, to look into the issues that we have raised. As an office, we are willing and ready to engage. However, it is our observation that there's a lack of commitment and reluctance by the government in fulfilling the Presidential Benefits Act in totality.
Currently, the former president runs his affairs as ex-president from the Uhuru Kenyatta Institute in Nairobi along State House Road. Moige William, TV47.
Thank you, Moige William, for that report. And of course, we have seen the response by the government spokesperson, that is Honorable Isaac Mwaura, responding to those, the statement by the office of the third president. And I'll just read part of it. And it says, setting the record straight on statement by the office of the third retired president. The office of the third retired president today made various allegations on the operations of the office. We offer to respond as follows. On matters vehicles, the office of the third retired president admits they have been provided with vehicles. We only differ on the number. The fact is that they have been provided with 14 vehicles. These vehicles are fueled and maintained at the State House. They also alleged falsely that their fuel cards have been blocked. We, however, put it on record that the vehicles are fueled through the State House MasterCard. Our records show that several vehicles were fueled as recently as May 15, 2024. The vehicles are also routinely maintained and serviced at State House. These services have been offered as recently as on April 5th, May 7th, May 8th, and May 15th, 2024. And on matters the office, in 2012-2013, the government purchased an office of the retired president. This office is located in Nyari, Nairobi. This is the office of the late President Mwai Kibaki used for 9 years between 2013 and 2012. It is therefore a suitable office for any retired president. By rejecting this office and preferring that the government leases his own private home, the third retired president is inviting the government to violate procurement laws, regulations, and procedures. The third retired president wants to be both a landlord and a tenant at the same time. It is an adventure that the government cannot engage in, as this is a serious conflict of interest. On matters staff, the statement from the government spokesperson proceeds to say that the office of the former president confirms that their staff are on government payroll. The Presidential Retirement Benefits Act specifies that a former president should have 34 staff. Already 33 are in office. The Act also specifies that staff who work in the office of the retired president must be public servants. On Mr. George Kariuki and Ms. Kanze Dena, their names have not been forwarded to the State House Comptroller by the retired president for processing. On the budget, finally, the Honorable Isaac Mwaura, government spokesperson, says the government diligently pays the salaries of the retired president, his staff, and their allowances. State House also maintains and fuels the 14 vehicles and facilitates all travels for the former president, both local and international. It is critical to point out that the Act provides that only foreign trips should be fully paid for and for a maximum of 14 days. As for daily subsistence when on an official duty, Public Service Commission and National Treasury regulations apply. Winds up by saying the retired president's budget is under the State House Comptroller, who is the accounting officer of the State House, including the office of the retired president. The Comptroller originates the budget and defends it in Parliament. There was therefore no compelling obligation to seek concurrence on the budget with the office of the retired president. Isaac Mwaura winds up by saying the government remains committed to upholding the rule of law at all times. By the government spokesperson, Honorable Isaac Mwaura, regarding the statement, or rather the press conference issued by Kanze Dena Mararo, the spokesperson of the office of the third retired president, and we wait to see how all that plays out in the coming days. Away from that, the Finance and National Planning Committee of the National Assembly has finally concluded its stakeholder meetings after a 2-week deliberations period, with members of the public presenting their views before the Kimani Kuria-led committee. The chair has assured Kenyans that they will carefully review the recommendations made in the Finance Bill 2024 in order to achieve a sound balance. And as Mike Kagwongo now reports, the committee will now retreat to prepare a report that will be tabled in the National Assembly before going through the third reading and voting.
Thank you for giving us this opportunity.
In the just concluded 2 weeks process to present views on the controversial Finance Bill of 2024, a large section of Kenyans opposed the introduction of eco-levy, the proposed 10% levy on all locally manufactured and imported plastics as recommended by the Treasury. During a public participation forum at the National Assembly's Committee on Finance and National Planning, Kenyans told lawmakers that the proposed tax is a double charge to what already exists and risk creating an unfavorable business environment in the country, a factor that could scare away investors.
The new tax will have an adverse effect on the insurance industry, including a high risk of job losses. The sector employs over 15,000 people in Kenya. That is according to KNBS.
If we have more chicks, it will mean that the consumer, the farmer, or the growers will have the day-old chicks at a lesser price.
With 87% of Kenyans opposing to the tax measures according to the latest InfoTrack report, concerned Kenyans raised issues with the introduction of tax on bread.
Let us ensure that we keep these children at school, because some of them, they come because of this piece of bread. So I want to urge you, Bwana Chair and your committee, tafadhali, hii kitu ni ya muhimu sana.
Now we embrace bread. And if you're a food scientist and you know how bread is made, I can tell you 90% of the nutrients are taken out. If you go to Sarit Center, we have health food stores. They sell those products, leaving you the white flour that you consume, and you say that's the basic food. So I propose, or I approve, that the tax on bread will be even 20% or 30%.
If implemented, the cost of bread is expected to increase by 10 shillings for a 400-gram loaf, increasing the average cost from approximately 60 shillings to around 75 shillings. A section of Kenyans, however, applauded President William Ruto's tax policy, requesting the MPs to pass the 2024 finance bill without any changes.
Kenya is undergoing an economic transformation. And this calls for a lot of sacrifice from everybody, likened to the time our parents fought for our independence.
We want to tell you, go and greet Mr. President and tell him he have our support and Kenya is good. I believe right now as we speak, the high cost of living that have been an issue to many people, the price of unga, right now we can have a decent meal.
The presentations, according to committee chairman Kimani Kuria, have demonstrated how critical it is to develop policies that will expand the nation's manufacturing industry.
We're going to make sure that we accommodate as much as possible the views of Kenyans, even as we try to balance generating revenue to fund the budget estimates of 24-25.
After getting views from Kenyans, the Molo MP Kimani Kuria-led committee retreats Tuesday to prepare a report that will be tabled in the National Assembly. The bill will go through the third reading before MPs take a vote. The responsibility now falls to elected representatives to vote for the controversial finance bill of 2024, even as President William Ruto seeks to finance his budget of 2024-2025 financial year. Mike Kagwango, TV47, Nairobi.
Thank you, Mike, for that report. Malawian officials have confirmed that an aircraft carrying Malawi's Vice President Saulos Chilima and 9 others has gone missing. The Malawi Defense Force state that the plane went off the radar after it left the capital, Lilongwe, on Monday morning. Malawian President Lazarus Chakwera ordered a search and rescue operation after aviation officials were unable to contact the aircraft. It was supposed to land at Mzuzu International Airport in the country's north just after 10 a.m. local time after a 45-minute flight from the capital in Lilongwe. More details are coming your way in our subsequent bulletins. The United Democratic Alliance UDA party is making inroads into areas previously believed to be ODM's strongholds. In this case, Siaya County, addressing the press in Siaya Town, where he announced his decision to join UDA, local politician Julius Okinda stated that UDA has so far registered 196,000 members in the county and that the number is still increasing.
Those are some of the reasons which drove me into Kenya Kwanza leadership. So I'm part of it, and we are going to work within the Kenya Kwanza structure to ensure that all these are achieved. I've been party list since I was refused a chance to participate in ODM nomination of 2022 when I was seeking for a senatorial seat in Siaya. So I've been party list since April 2022. So I joined the party this month. So now I'm a member of UDA.
Now, the government has launched the fourth and final segment of the Kenya Vision 2030 plan in Marsabit with an intent to upscale the already commenced programs and projects to boost productivity. The fourth medium-term plan covers the period 2023 to 2027. Speaking during the event, the Cabinet Secretary of Interior Kithure Kindiki urged Kenyans to foster good relations and unity amid different opinions, saying that this is a democratic country and it is perfectly normal to have conflicting opinions and ideas. He further added that the Double gold mine will remain closed until further notice.
Now is the statement of Dr. William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces. I am delighted to preside over the launch of the 4th medium-term plan covering the period 2023 to 2027, which marks the final 5-year plan of the Kenya Vision 2030, launched in 2008. The Kenya Vision 2030 stands out as our nation's ambitious long-term development blueprint designed to elevate Kenya into a newly industrializing middle-income country, ensuring a high quality of life for all citizens. Kuna wengi pia wamesema kuna uwezekano wa kubadilisha mfumo uliopo wa ugavi wa mali ya taifa la Kenya. Na sisi kama nchi ya kidemokrasia hatuna shida na mtu yeyote ambaye ako na maoni ambaye ako nayo. Ile tumekataa na ambaye ni kinyume na katiba ya nchi ya Kenya ni mtu yoyote wa kiwango chochote kujaribu kugawa ama kuwawanyisha wananchi wa taifa la Kenya kwa misingi ya kimaeneo ama misingi ya kiukoo na ukabila. Hiyo hatutakubali.
Now, Mount Kenya leaders are yet again on the spotlight after an altercation occurred during a debate over the one man, one shilling, one vote idea, the aftermath of which resulted in the hospitalization of Ndendero Ward MCA David Mwaura after he sustained serious injuries from the scuffle that developed after two factions clashed. Trouble started after a section of MPs, Mount Kenya MPs from Kiambu County, campaigned against the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagwa's one man, one shilling, one vote agenda, terming it as selfish politics, even as another faction reacted in scandalized ire to these sentiments. The debate over the revenue sharing continues to draw sharp and diverse views from leaders across the country, but particularly in central Kenya.
Tujiulize sisi kama wananchi, mtu kama ameshindwa na kazi yake asitutumie sisi kutuambia turudi kwa siasa za ukabila, ili atutumie sisi kujitafutia yeye mwenyewe kushibisha tumbo yake. We will not allow you, and we will not succumb to blackmail, we will not succumb to coercion, we will not succumb to your dictatorial tendencies. We have said no, and our people are firmly behind us.
Ni kama mjumbe wa Kiambu nasema hivi, sisi watu ya Kenya lazima tukae na umoja ndio tuweze kuleta maendeleo.
CS wengi wamechaguliwa kutoka Mount Kenya region. PS wengi wamechaguliwa kutoka Mount Kenya region. Na zaidi ya hiyo ametupa CEOs, akatupa chairman wa parastatals, na kwa hivyo hatuwezi kuwa tunaenda njia nyingine yoyote ila kusema tutakuwa nyuma ya president wetu kukiwa mchana na kukiwa usiku.
Absolutely. Now, President William Ruto passed the Supplementary Appropriations Bill 2024 and the Division of Revenue Bill 2024 into law on Monday at State House, Nairobi. The new law is said to unlock the resources that will catalyze economic performance and enhance service delivery, as Chichi Josephine now tells us.
The bill that was considered by the National Assembly and passed on March 20th, 2024 without amendments and forwarded to the Senate, which considered and passed it on May 2nd, 2024, was passed into law by President William Ruto on Monday.
Another aspect of it
After signing into law, the Supplementary Appropriation Bill will release funds for government expenditure for the financial year that is ending June 30th.
This state ceremony is convened pursuant to Article 115 of the Constitution for presidential assent of the Supplementary Appropriations number 2 of financial year 2023-2024 and the Division of Revenue Bill 2024.
The government has reduced this financial year overall budget by 132.46 billion shillings from 3.981 trillion shillings to 3.848 trillion shillings, which translates to a reduction of 3.3%.
The bill reduces the overall budget for financial year 2023-2024 by Kenya shillings 132.46 billion from Kenya shillings 3,981.53 billion to Kenya shillings 3,848.07 billion.
Additionally, 3 billion shillings was allocated to the Department of Internal Security for El Nino disaster management and another 3 billion shillings for the fertilizer subsidy program and 1 million shillings for construction of destroyed infrastructure by floods.
Which have been directed.
The bill allocates 400 billion shillings to counties, while the national government will get 2.5 trillion shillings out of 2.9 trillion shillings. This is an increase from the 385 billion shillings allocated to counties in the year 2023-2024.
May these documents
Chichi Josephine, TV47.
Intended to serve. Mighty.
Thank you, Chichi, for that. Following the challenges of lack of vaccination for newborn children, which has been witnessed in recent days throughout the country, the government, through the Ministry of Health, has admitted receiving the vaccination, where now the program to trace the children who missed the vaccination has begun. Our very own Isaac Famba informs us.
The recent news on the dire shortage of children's vaccine created waves of uneasy and worry among parents across the country, with many criticizing the government over its handling of the matter. Even so, the government, through the Ministry of Health, is on record admitting to the worrying state of affairs, nevertheless offering hope that it will be resolved in no time. According to the Health CS, Susan Ahumecha, the plan to remedy the vaccine situation will also involve the community health promoters, who will cooperate with health officers in all centers to ensure all children receive those vaccinations throughout the country.
We had a challenge with the supply chain. We owe the vendors, that is Gavi and UNICEF, we owed them some money. There was a delay in disbursement, but last week but one, the disbursement was made, and we did an accelerated procurement, so the vaccines were received, and now we are tracing the children who might have missed. So we are using the community health promoters, and we have also talked to facilities. We want to disseminate information to the county governments so that those who miss vaccines are recalled and told that the vaccines are now available so that they can be able to get the vaccines.
Additionally, CS Nakumecha is assuring Kenyans that all that is needed for an easy transition from NHIF to SHIF, with those services expecting to begin from early next month.
So from where I sit, I am comfortable that starting 1st of July, Kenyans now need to start registration into SHA, and besides registration, also pay for their medical insurance. It's important for people to register because, one, the primary health care fund is being paid for by government, but you will not be able to access services if you are not registered. So you must register for Social Health Authority.
The CS maintains that the new changes boost the ability of Kenyans to receive quality medical services in the country. Isaac Famba, TV47, Trans Nzoia County.
Thank you, Famba, for that. The Cooperative Bank has disbursed 8.8 billion shillings as dividends for the financial year 2023 at a rate of 1 shilling and 50 cents per share. The dividend payout, similar to the one paid in 2022, was approved by the bank's annual general meeting held mid last month. The consistent dividend payout comes on over the years that saw the bank post net earnings of 23.2 billion shillings last year. The bank's managing director, Gideon Muriuki, said that the Co-op Bank Group aims at delivering a sustained increase in shareholder value.
Sports news brought to you
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni Ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that, so when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO and the rest of.
At what point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business. It's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries, and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave. Wallahi. Ambao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job, it's a way of life. Join the journey. Become an entrepreneur. The Grind, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Here on Beyond the Limit, we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of individuals who redefine possibilities. In a journey of resilience and determination, these individuals demonstrate that limitations are merely stepping stones to greatness.
I'm Nancy Njoroge, a mother of 3. I have 2 girls and a boy who is Clinton and who is autistic.
When my heart got healed, I decided to come out to be creating CP awareness, to let other people know that there is such a condition, and people that has it is not that they are witches.
Together, let's go beyond the limit every Saturday at 8 p.m.
Welcome to The Realtor, where we take you on an exciting journey from bare land to dream home. Step 1. Finding the perfect plot. We explore location, size, and potential. Next, construction begins. Witness the foundation being laid, walls rising, and rooms taking shape. Step 3. Electricity matters. We delve into wiring, switches, and smart home tech. Step 4. From paint choices to fixtures, it's all about aesthetics. Step 5. It's time to get the right furniture. Finally, the big day. Time to move in and create memories. Join us on the journey to making homes a reality on The Realtor, Tuesdays 6:30.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni Ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that, so when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO and the rest
At
of...
what point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business. It's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries, and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave. Wallahi. Ambao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job, it's a way of life. Join the journey. Become an entrepreneur. The Grind, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Here on Beyond the Limit, we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of individuals who redefine possibilities. In a journey of resilience and determination, these individuals demonstrate that limitations are merely stepping stones to greatness.
I'm Nancy Njoroge, a mother of 3. I have 2 girls and a boy who is Clinton and who is autistic.
When my heart got healed, I decided to come out to be creating CP awareness, to let other people know that there is such a condition, and people that has it is not that they are witches.
Together, let's go beyond the limit every Saturday at 8 p.m.
Welcome to The Realtor, where we take you on an exciting journey from bare land to dream home. Step 1. Finding the perfect plot. We explore location, size, and potential. Next, construction begins. Witness the foundation being laid, walls rising, and rooms taking shape. Step 3. Electricity matters. We delve into wiring, switches, and smart home tech. Step 4. From paint choices to fixtures, it's all about aesthetics. Step 5. It's time to get the right furniture. Finally, the big day. Time to move in and create memories. Join us on the journey to making homes a reality on The Realtor, Tuesdays 6:30.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that. So when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO, and the rest of...
At what point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business, it's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries, and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave. Wallahi. Mbao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job, it's a way of life. Join the journey. Become an entrepreneur. The Grind, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Here on Beyond the Limit, we celebrate the extraordinary achievements of individuals who redefine possibilities. In a journey of resilience and determination, these individuals demonstrate that limitations are merely stepping stones to greatness.
I'm Nancy Njoroge, a mother of 3. I have 2 girls and a boy who is Clinton and who is autistic.
When my heart got healed, I decided to come out to be creating CP awareness, to let other people know that there is such a condition, and people that has it is not that they are witches.
Together, let's go beyond the limit every Saturday at 8 p.m.
Welcome to The Realtor, where we take you on an exciting journey from bare land to dream home. Step 1. Finding the perfect plot. We explore location, size, and potential. Next, construction begins. Witness the foundation being laid, walls rising, and rooms taking shape. Step 3. Electricity matters. We delve into wiring, switches, and smart home tech. Step 4. From paint choices to fixtures, it's all about aesthetics. Step 5. It's time to get the right furniture. Finally, the big day. Time to move in and create memories. Join us on the journey to making homes a reality on The Realtor, Tuesdays 6:30.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni ridgeback, ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that. So when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO, and the rest of.
At what point are you a wife?
The minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where
put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
We thank you for staying with the Daily Report. Time now for our conversation with my guest, who is joining us via way of phone, Elijah Wachira, not engineer. I beg your pardon. Earlier on, I introduced him as engineer, but he is Elijah Wachira, the CEO of acting CEO also for the transition committee to the Social Health Authority. Good evening, sir. Thank you so much for making time for us.
Good evening.
Brilliant, great. And the first question, that comes to the minds of many as we anticipate the transition in July. How is the process so far from an insider perspective? What are some of the things that perhaps you're seeing?
Thank you very much for this very important opportunity to educate Kenyans on what is happening at the health financing sector of our country. I want to take us back to October 19th, 2023. That is when the president assented into law for, and among them is the Social Health Insurance Act, or the SHI Act. During our communication today, you will hear me refer to SHI, SHIF, and others.
Yes.
So the Social Health Insurance Act, under the Social Health Insurance Act, we have 3 funds: the Primary Healthcare Fund, Social Health Insurance Fund, SHIF, and the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund, ECCIF. This Social Health Insurance Act came into force on November 22nd, 2023. So in essence, transition began then, because when the Social Insurance Act came into force, the NHIF Act was repealed, save for a few clauses that have enabled us to continue enjoying benefits and to pay the premiums that were payable during the NHIF era. I don't know whether that answers your question.
Yes. So
Thank you.
So then, looking at this transition and how we, some of the questions that we did see, especially from Kenyans, why then come up with separating these funds? Why not just have it as one? Because the Social Health Act is the one that comes up with the 3 funds: the Primary Healthcare Fund, Social Health Insurance Fund, and Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund. Whereas the revenue streams will be coming from different streams. Why is it not important? Why is it important to separate?
Thank you. You realize that we are coming from an era where we had NHIF.
Yes.
And NHIF was a contributory scheme, only available to those who contribute, who are mainly the employed. So we are coming out of that regime to a regime of universal health coverage, where we want to make health accessible to all at reasonably affordable costs. So to that extent, we are separating the fund because we would like to make this new organization, Social Health Authority, or SHA, the strategic health centers and dispensaries, and this will be fully funded by the government as long as you are registered under SHA. You access these services whether you are paid up or not. So to that extent, because the contributor of the finances of this is different from the one who gave the finances in SHIF, because SHIF will be funded by contributors, then you realize the need to separate the fund. Again, along the same area, there will be emergencies coming up. There will be people who will exhaust their limits under Social Health Insurance Act. And that is how the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund came about. So the fact that the sources of funds are different,
yes,
and the uses are different, need a very deliberate governance structure so that we are able to study the trends of each and make the requisite remedial actions. Thank you.
Brilliant. Sir, you of course served as, insurance boss in a private insurance company, and that has, Kenyans have preferred more to go to private insurances because over the years, NHIF has not fulfilled or that has not seemed to serve them better. Do you think that perhaps the confidence could be drawn now to the SHIF or SHA once it is rolled out? Do you believe that perhaps the strategies that are being put into place will inspire confidence in government insurance?
Now, I see a lot of confidence and a lot of service coming out of the current arrangement, more so because of a fund called Facility Improvement Fund. All the funds that will be coming out of Social Health Authority will be used by the various administrators of hospitals only to replenish commodities and ensure that facilities are up to standard to be able to give the service that wananchi want. So to that extent, the facilities will be good, they will be well stocked, they will be well staffed. I do not see why people will not have confidence in these facilities and now go back to making sure that they patronize the government health system.
There are a lot of people because there is the issue of, perhaps if you could just elaborate for us the issue of funding. So there is the checkoff for those who are salaried, which comes at 2.75%, and then the self-employed, the annual remittance. If you could talk to us about, or rather clarify about the remittance, especially to the fund.
Thank you very much. A calculation has been done behind the scenes.
Yes.
And this calculation has shown that if every person in Kenya paid 2.75 of what they earn, then all facilities will be well compensated for the service that they will be able to offer. And because this money will be turned again and again to ensure proper stocking, proper staffing, and a good look and feel, then we are confident that, number one, at service delivery level, we are good. Now, from a funding perspective, everybody employed is required to pay 2.75. For those that are not in formal employment, a means testing tool will be used to calculate their annual income, and then that income will be multiplied by 2.75. 2.75% of the income of the unemployed is what will be required to be paid. Now, it is understandable that people that are not in formal employment do not get their incomes regularly like their counterparts who are employed. Some get daily, some get weekly, some in agriculture get every 6 months or every so often. Their income patterns are irregular. So to make sure that this is evened out, SHA and the Ministry of Health are negotiating with insurance premium financiers so that the money will be paid annually in advance by the insurance premium financier, and then the financier will get the money from the insured as and when their monies are available. Thank you.
Yeah, okay, great. It's because there is a question here. There are a lot of people whose adult children live in their households because of lack of employment. At what age do you cut off people within a household?
Oh, majority age in Kenya for non-school going age is 18, but it can be extended to 25 with evidence of school/college going. So if they go beyond such ages, then they will have to be considered as standalone households. Yes.
Okay. Someone here has just texted in. Kindly, how do I join from NHIF? Jason Murithi asking, kindly, how do I join from NHIF? Will it be a will it be voluntary? How will the registration go about?
The kind of service we shall offer Kenyans will be comprehensive.
Okay.
They'll be good for them. They'll be affordable. So we are encouraging all Kenyans to register. How do you register?
Yes.
Very soon, the registration exercise will be launched. And we are anticipating to make this registration exercise quite easy, where for those that are currently in NHIF and others who have government documents, it will be more confirmation of record than actual registration. We want to make this so easy that you can be able to register both with a smartphone and with the other phones that are not smart. All you have to do is to tap certain buttons on the telephone, and then your data will be pulled from one government agency or another. Yes. So it will be very easy, and we are calling upon all Kenyans to quickly verify their records so that they can be able to access service.
Along the way, there came about that, NHIF would then result to just paying for bed only for, patients, especially seeking treatment in inpatient services. Do you think that perhaps, we will end up having a situation that, secondary regulations could be introduced midway because of the level of health needs in this country?
The act that has formed Social Health Authority, that is the Social Health Insurance Act, has said that the terms of contracts with providers and will change or will be reviewed every 3 years.
Okay.
So from where I sit, I do not see changes in the benefit structure that we are promising Kenyans halfway. We shall continue evaluating the benefit structure that we offer, and our desire is to continue enhancing the benefits and not in any way to reduce any of the benefits we are offering at the moment.
On the facility improvement funds, do you think, do you envision, or what would be the model of, upscaling these facilities? Will we get to a point where, say, the capital city will be considered and then the far-flung areas will be considered later? Or what would be the ideal model in the conversations that are ongoing before this is rolled out?
I would wish we restrict this conversation today to Social Health Authority and Social Health Insurance Fund.
Yes.
But the one thing I will emphasize around Facility Improvement Fund is a very deliberate effort by government to ensure that our patients are treated in conducive environments by enough and competent personnel, and where there is adequate supply of commodities. So there is that very deliberate effort by government, and I'm aware that a lot of work is going on, only that I may not be the right person to give that information for now.
Okay,
yes.
Brilliant. So how much of efficacy, because we are dealing also with a population, as you're aware, that so many chronic diseases have been recorded. Going by private, insurance companies and how things have been dealt with before, is that the age limit has been a factor in determining, because some of these illnesses and diseases, either by way of design or by late recognition, have been, diagnosed to various Kenyans, being patients. Will there be a capping, especially on the treatment, especially of, say, newly chronic or even chronic illnesses?
One of the reasons why government introduced the Emergency Critical and Chronic Illness Fund is to make sure or to take care of the population that is rising, that is finding themselves with these kind of conditions.
Yes.
And what we have told everybody, unlike the case in the past, we shall not discriminate on age or give any condition that one could be having. And if one exhausts their limits in the SHIF fund, then they will go on, because they'll first be treated in the SHIF fund, Social Health Insurance Fund. If for whatever reason the limits are exhausted there, then they will go on and access further benefit in the Emergency Chronic and Critical Illness Fund. So this is very well taken care of. Everybody will access as much benefit as the doctor prescribes.
Do you think that perhaps this fund, the Social Health Insurance Fund, with the, the way you're saying that, especially for level 1 and level 2 and level 3 facilities, or, a Kenyan will be able to walk in and, get treatment free of charge. Do you perceive an overwhelming number of cases to deal with that would then create a backlog in terms of services to be offered, and then in the end also add up to the current pending bills that have already been, complained about by service providers?
No, thank you. You realize that you are starting counting the levels from level 2, level 3, and forgetting that there is a level 1, the community health promoters. So one very important approach that the government is taking now is preventive. So we have people on the ground who are walking into our houses, into our compounds, and advising us on lifestyle and environmental matters that affect our public health. They also advise us in a big way. So level 1 will be very important in ensuring that we prevent very many of the preventable conditions. Then level 2, 3 will focus more on communicable conditions, the homas, the stomach aches, and those conditions that very many people will have. So you realize that, in fact, somebody said that after COVID, the incidence of coughs and flus went down because we all learned to wash our hands many times, to wear masks, and a number of hygiene initiatives. What I foresee is a situation where our interaction with community health promoters and our interaction with level 2, level 3 will teach us how to live, and we shall not have the congestion. We shall actually not have to go to hospital in the first place.
Brilliant. Bona Elijah Wachira, please allow us to take a break to pay our bills, and just hold on the line just for a minute. I will be back because Kenyans have been sending in the questions. The questions are still coming in. Our SMS number is 22047. We are back in a few minutes after this short commercial break with the CEO of NHIF. Do stay with us.
Kila kiongozi ana hadithi yake ya kipekee.
Wazazi wangu walikuwa bit strict kwa sababu mamangu mwenyewe, mimi kutoka kuzaliwa sijailala nje.
The white small one, huyo ana sniff gunpowder na risasi na bomb. Alafu huyo mwingine ni ridgeback ana sniff simba.
Even the employees knows that. So when in the boardroom is the chairman, the CEO, and the rest
At
of
what point are you a wife?
the minute you get to that inside that door, you become now the wife.
Na kila maamuzi wanayoyafanya hufichua mengi kuhusu utu wao na uongozi wao.
We see God blessing us, and we now realize the power of giving also has to be rewarded back.
Kupitia kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi, tunakuletea mahojiano ya kusisimua na uchambuzi wa kina kuhusu viongozi wetu.
Pick your core business as the bigger stones. Put them in your diary first. Give priority the bigger things.
Usikose kila Alhamis saa 1:30 jioni.
In a world where challenges are as common as opportunities, there are those who dare to defy the odds. They are the entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship isn't just about starting a business, it's about embracing uncertainty, pushing boundaries, and turning dreams into reality.
Hata ambao ni pesa ya kusave. Wallahi. Mbao mwaka ni pesa nyingi sana.
As long as you're earning something, there's always that opportunity to save. And you start with where you are.
The way we run the business is in a very unforgiving way, where every team member has to bring out their best.
So, to all the dreamers, innovators, and risk takers out there, remember, being an entrepreneur isn't just a job, it's a way of life. Join the journey. Become an entrepreneur. The Grind, Mondays at 7:30 p.m.
Welcome back. You're watching the Daily Report. My guest is still Mr. Wachira Elijah, the CEO of NHIF and acting CEO of the Transition Committee. Thank you so much, sir, for staying on the line with us. There is a question here from a Kenyan who asks, will private facilities benefit just like public facilities in claims and facility development funds?
Thank you. All facilities will be treated the same.
Yes.
There will be a contract that will be advertised shortly. Every facility, be it public, private, or faith-based, that will sign up that contract to be treated the same.
Okay, brilliant. One other asks, SHA has no provision for comprehensive medical cover. What happens to civil servants who are entitled to comprehensive medical cover as per SRC circular?
Thank you very much.
Yes.
SHA is offering a cover that is fairly comprehensive to all Kenyans, civil servants, employees of the private sector, and even people in the informal sector. So the one thing that we are telling all Kenyans is that the cover we are giving is comprehensive enough that will be able to offer as much benefit as possible. However, we are leaving employers to make decision of whether they would like to enhance this cover with additional benefits, mainly from private insurers. The new law does not allow SHA to transact in enhanced covers or in any other business outside of universal health coverage. So should any employee of any organization wish to get a cover outside of universal health coverage, they may have to get this from other service providers.
Julie asks, please ask whether any facility will be accessible to SHIF members.
Oh, thank you very much. All patients, let me call them patients, will be required to first seek service in level 2 and level 3 facilities. If the level 2 and level 3 facilities deem it necessary to refer upwards, then the facility will refer the patient to level 4, 5, 6.
Okay, brilliant. The teething problems we've seen at NHIF over the years, over the the decades it has been in place, have been quite magnanimous in whatever weight that they have been, and it has been quite a difficult trajectory in trying to convince Kenyans, I believe, going by the feedback we are getting in terms of how the fund has been managed. Would you inspire confidence in Kenyans to say, fine, 2.75% is being checked off those who are salaried, those who are also self-employed, this is the way they will be contributing to this fund, and then these funds will be available for whoever needs treatment. Do you think that perhaps there is confidence in Kenyans to be able to say, okay, we trust and believe that this fund will work for us?
Thank you very much. SHA has pushed together a new board, a new ICT system, and will advertise for all its positions to be able to recruit people of impeccable integrity to be able to do this back work. So from the information I have,
yes,
the system has a very good, the ICT system has a very good control environment that will ensure that the funds that are being managed are safe and will only be used for the purposes for which they are meant.
Okay, a teacher is asking, what about us teachers who are being deducted double insurance from our pay slip, that is NHIF and AON Minet?
Like the public service, the question I answered earlier,
yes,
teachers will now pay Social Health Insurance Fund at 2.75% of their gross pay. When they pay that, they will be able to get or to access universal health coverage. If their employer deems it necessary to buy additional benefits for them, then the employer will be at liberty to buy the additional benefits from one of the many commercial insurance players out there. Yes, please.
Okay, brilliant. So I know you're well traveled, and we've seen how other countries have been able to implement their health funds in terms of uniformity, because one of the things that Kenyans have said is the reason NHIF has not been improved over the years is because the leadership has not even had trust and confidence even in the local facilities, and if it has to be local, it is the elite private hospitals or seeking treatment abroad. In terms of looking at improving this fund and these services back home, what do you have to say in terms of those who still doubt and say, okay, this sounds still good on paper, but its actualization and implementation could be different?
Thank you, and thank you for acknowledging that I have been to a number of countries.
Yes.
The one good thing I will assure you is that healthcare standards in Kenya are quite high. If you walk into any of our level 6 facilities, both private and public, you'll be surprised to realize that about 20% of the patients there are foreigners, people who have come from other countries to seek service in Kenya. So to that extent, the government and even investors in the private sector have invested heavily in infrastructure and in skill to make sure that the kind of service that is being offered in Kenya is the same and sometimes higher than some service offered in some of these developed economies. I have seen a lot of knowledge transfer between our leading hospitals and hospitals in developed countries. There are very many of our doctors at the moment in India, in the US, in South Africa, and a few other places, learning what is happening there and then coming to employ it here. I have also seen providers in some of these advanced countries come here and pass on knowledge. If you look at the equipment in our country now, we have equipment called, like we have PET scans, we have CyberKnife, we have state-of-the-art. As technology is growing, we are growing with technology. So we'll encourage our citizens to have confidence in our hospital infrastructure because our doctors will be brave enough to tell you what is surely not available that has to be done elsewhere as we try to upskill and ensure the right technology is in the country.
As we enter the home stretch, there has been, of course, as is with any system, feasibility studies, of course, that are started, and there is now the troubleshooting stage before the launch, because we know before the official rollout in July, any time from now, the president will be rolling this out. What are some of the key issues or key things that perhaps you have identified in the system as we await the official rollout, in July this year?
Thank you. Because we are making these promises quite loudly and to everyone, you will start hearing us a lot across the media system. Then the one thing that we are anticipating is huge numbers in all our facilities. And we have spoken to the administrators of the facilities so that they are ready to accommodate the numbers.
Okay.
We anticipate a situation where people will go to these hospitals to test if this thing that is being talked about is working. And I think at this earliest opportunity, I will tell Kenyans that if you are not sick, you do not have to go to hospital. At that time when you are sick, when you go, you will discover that indeed the system is working. So to us, that heavy response from Kenyans is one thing that we are preparing for day and night, because that is where we anticipate the test of the pudding will be.
Okay, and a question here comes in. Will SHIF get control of funds management at the facility level, because some facilities misuse funds, leaving insured members without drugs and quality services?
There is the different act, the Facility Improvement Fund, that will ensure that funds meant for drugs will only be used for drugs and not for anything else. So the law has taken care of that, where hospital administrators will be encouraged not to use that money for anything else other than what it is meant for. So the government, this is one government, and we are working very closely in ensuring that all government projects work.
Okay. And as you look at the actualization of this fund that is coming in this year, what are some of the key things that perhaps within the first, say, 6 months that the fund, or rather the SHIF, will be intending to achieve, if you could look at 6 months and 1 year duration from July?
The first 6 months, we anticipate a situation where, number one, we shall decongest our referral institutions.
Okay.
Because when people with communicable conditions go to level 2 and level 3, the queues in level 4, 5, 6 will not be congested by that, and therefore there will be better outcomes in those levels. Number two, we anticipate a situation where there will be early detection and treatment of chronic conditions. There will be reduced mortality from chronic and critical conditions given the ECCF.
Okay.
There will be overwhelming support where, because the services offered will be very good, we see every Kenyan happily joining and enjoying the services that SHIF will offer. So every Kenyan will join and pay. And for once, we shall have a technology-driven health system where we are able to track using technology medication right from KEMSA warehouses through the hospital to the individual. So I'm able to say paracetamol batch number 1, 2, 3 manufactured in January 2022 is now in the house of Wachira because the system will be able to track all the way. So it's a revolution for our health sector, and there is heavy accountability across board that will ensure improved health outcomes. Thank you.
Brilliant. As before we let you go, perhaps you can take 2 minutes or a minute or two to just speak to Kenyans, especially on this whole transition. It's been a journey that started, especially this administration, and health, of course, is wealth. If you could just speak to Kenyans on the overall, process, what you see that perhaps, the ills and the faults and flaws that you wish to correct, to just speak to Kenyans, especially even on the concerning issues that have arisen so far.
Fellow Kenyans, the Social Health Insurance Act came into force to address some of the shortfalls in strategic health purchasing that were identified earlier. Like was said earlier in the interview, earlier financiers would finance only the bed, and one would find themselves with huge bills to pay. Earlier financiers would discriminate, sometimes based on condition, all age. All this discrimination is now a thing of the past with Social Health Authority. We are calling upon all Kenyans to register in large numbers when called upon to register, and to try the services at the right hospitals where they will be referred, especially the level 2s and level 3s, to see that indeed a lot of good work is happening both at the facilities and with the financiers. Together, we shall make Kenya great, and we shall make Kenyans healthy. Thank you.
Brilliant. Indeed, thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us. That has been Elijah Wachira, the CEO of NHIF, also acting CEO of the Transition Committee, speaking to us on matters transition from NHIF to SHIF, NHIF to SHIF. Thank you so much, sir, for speaking to us, and have a good night. Brilliant. We thank you also, and I hope your questions have been answered, especially on matters, the transition, even as we gear up and wait to see what comes in the coming days, or what rather transpires. I am George Maringa, thanking you so much for your company and watching the Daily Report. As always, stay safe and be kind to one another. I'll see you next time, as well as we anticipate and look forward to bringing you another invigorating and interesting conversation right here on the Daily Report. Have a good night. From Nairobi, I'm George Maringa.